Welcome to Wearables Weekly, episode 47. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching it later, thank you for watching it later. I would first like to introduce our band of wearable hosts, Mr. Aaron Caston.
What's up? If you're not watching, we don't care about you.
Not true.
And just to mention, we have the entire team here for the first time in a long time. I forgot to say that before. Cecilia is back in action.
There you go.
With her new Google Glass frames, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Next up is our fearless leader, Mr. Keith Acorn. Sorry, I forgot your name. Wow.
No problem. Hey, everybody.
Livy Chang, our other fearless leader.
Fearless leader. That's a bit overstated.
Yes, and
this week we're the survivors since we apparently made it through the big earthquake.
This is true. Yes.
You guys have gone through pretty much a drought. That's been a pretty interesting couple of years for Californians, huh?
Yes, it has. Yes, lots going on. The drought is still going on, actually.
Yeah, that's not going away anytime soon.
No.
All right, so I
was able to get her backdrop in order, so that was good.
All right, so I officially nominate everybody to put water back into the wells in which you... I'm just kidding. Anyway, again, welcome to the episode 47, and there's a lot of news this week. But we'll lead it off with the glass scavenger hunt, which I heard a lot about in the various feeds. Does anyone... I assume, Aaron, you weren't there. Keith and Libby always go to the fun stuff. Tell us about it, guys.
Want to go, Lib?
I see the pictures over here. It looks
Are you posting pictures? You're posting. You should talk through the pictures, though.
Cool. Yeah. So the scavenger hunt was in San Francisco last Saturday. It was put on by Kevin Ma, who works for ShopRunner, and yeah, he said a really neat scavenger hunt through like downtown San Francisco. Had a whole bunch of little tasks to go, like find people and little stuff to take pictures of. So yeah, so this is just some stuff we were doing. You can see different teams. You might see some familiar faces: John Fagan, his wife, Kim, Amanda. Yeah, a lot of people. So we were around the Ferry Building and the AT&T Stadium. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Hey, minimize my chat with you. On the chat window.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Thank God. I didn't write anything obscene, as I normally do.
Noble has to censor himself.
That looks really cool. So was there any glassware associated with it? Were you getting hints through glass and stuff like that, or was it just pure fun and pictures?
So Kevin did set it up with, pictures were part of it. You had to prove everything you were seeing, so glass helped with that. But also he'd set it up so that one of the challenges was to get like the longest Strava score, so like you do that with the Strava app on glass. He did like a word lens on glass, so we definitely tied glass into something.
Yeah, there was a couple of the challenges that we had to use glass for. I think one was solving an equation, which I never figured out. I mean, I think I tried it like 100 times.
I'm not sure anybody really got it. It was weird.
There was one team that supposedly got it. I think John got it.
And get a glass selfie with a street performer and stuff like that. It was fun.
Interesting. Yeah, so you guys get to test the waters, do all the fun stuff, and then we all follow suit. I think DC, we might try to do like a national treasure type thing. That'd be really awesome. I didn't think about that for it when anyone is. If any other explorers are going to be in the DC area and you want to sort of run that show, I'm too busy. I can't. Sorry.
Sorry, I wanted to ask a question for the people that were there at the event. Do you see a way to expand that kind of event into a national thing that happens in different cities, or would it not be possible?
Yeah, it could be possible. So the way that it was set up was there was a bunch of different challenges with different point ranges. So like there was some easy stuff for 10 points and a little harder for 20 and such. So maybe not everything would be applicable to everywhere, but you can kind of pick challenges that.
I think it would be.
I talked about this a long time ago. I remember about doing a glass scavenger hunt virtually across the country.
Yeah, all of us talked about that a long time ago.
I think it would be possible if we did it just in California or just on the West Coast. It'd be hard to integrate East Coast, West Coast at the same time.
Well, you just can't do like specific like architectural things.
Or type
You
of
can say,
tree,
like,
or yeah.
find a picture of something, in like specific shapes and colors and different, make it more obscure basically, and I think you could still do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure like every town would have like some kind of clock tower or something like that.
Like the Capitol Dome.
Time, or take a photo of the time displayed publicly or something. I mean, that could even be a bank's digital sign or something. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Find a
body of water or something.
Find a body of water or a fountain. Or
that sounds like an amazing. That sounds like an amazing thing. Someone should lead that, and I might do it.
Should get the glass team involved.
Cecilia, why did you bring that up?
Oh, that's a perfect idea for someone we know. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
I was thinking if Cecilia was thinking about doing that, it'd be a great idea since you brought
I don't organize big events. I don't like doing that really.
Although I think it would be fun during the barbecue.
Yeah, we could probably do something.
That's a good idea.
We have a scavenger hunt aspect already. It's not specific to glass.
That's great.
If the glass team would like to participate in the Big Android Barbecue, perhaps through sponsorship dollars or by sending speakers, we would happily work with them to come up with a glass-specific scavenger hunt, though.
And I know the glass team watches the show, and this time I'm being really serious, religiously. So yes, the Big Android Barbecue, Dallas Fort Worth. Send someone over. It's not too late. Let's make it happen.
We'll make
if Android Wear allowed for cameras, you could do wearables specific scavenger hunt, but
there you go.
Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into the news, unless anyone disagrees. All right. This week we had a bunch of wearable news.
Stuff to talk about.
We saw the second generation of, or maybe the third generation for Samsung, but we saw some new Tizen and Wear-based wrist wearables. First up is the Samsung Gear S. I guess some of the highlights out of it, it has a 3G built-in SIM card. It's a little curved screen. I have no idea where the battery is. I know the band is not replaceable, so maybe the battery is sort of tied into the top part of the band. No idea. It looks amazing. They did completely snub Google. Obviously, it's Tizen based. They went with Nokia Maps, Facebook integration. What else? What else can you get? I don't know about some of the features.
Got a keyboard.
I should probably not say much more than say anything about features. But yes, what do you guys think?
It's got a heart rate monitor. It's got a pedometer. It's got a weird wrist locking mechanism that looks kind of strange. It also has. Is that a button on the front?
Yeah, it does look like.
Yeah, all of the not all, but it's normal for the Gear ones to have a button in the front.
Okay.
So it definitely seems to share.
Honestly, it comes really handy. I don't mind it at all.
You like that? Well, I mean, this one has a button on it too. It's just on the side, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less comfortable.
It's a little prominent.
Normal watches always have buttons. Is anyone complaining? I do have one thing to say. There was in my feed on Google Plus and some tweets on the Twitter sphere, there were some complaints about, and I quote, Samsung and LG polluting the wearable space with.
That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm reading this while looking at the most like tech forward, a watch that has its own 3G SIM card, a watch that looks. I mean, I still don't believe that next article on our list here, which is the LG Guar or the G Watch R.
The Guar.
I'm still not convinced that that's a real Wear device. I've not seen any Wear actions or animations or video with anyone wearing it. It looks amazing.
It's a good-looking watch, yeah. It is good.
And everyone noticed one little thing. It does not have the
yeah.
old,
flat tire.
Flat tire. And if you happen to catch the teaser ad for it, there's a nice little dig at Motorola. I don't know whether you guys caught it, but they talk about how they sort of illustrate how round it is, and it has a little flat part at the bottom, and the little animation just sort of bumps that round part and makes it a full circle, and it grabs that. That's amazing. What do you guys think about the Guar and the Samsung? I guess we're done talking about the Samsung G Watch, unless you guys.
I think they both look really nice. I
really wanted to say something about Samsung before we move on.
Let's go back. Let's talk.
I'm a big fan. I personally am a big fan about Samsung. Like after Apple, the best hardware maker for wearables and mobile for me is by far Samsung. And you can see this is the 4th iteration of a watch. And you can see that their bands are awesome. And if you look in the back, you probably can see that that's going to be detachable. I think the whole band is going to be replaceable somehow, because if you look in the back, it seems like you could.
Wouldn't it be awesome if the whole band was the actual battery, and you can just buy a bunch of multiple bands, and when you
that'd be nice.
band's gonna be replaceable.
It did have a bit of a small battery, unfortunately. It's around the same as their current Android Wear watch.
I did run my battery down on my Wear watch in one day, finally, for the first time, but it only happened once.
What I'm saying, though, Keith, is that if you have replaceable bands that double as batteries, it doesn't matter if it runs down in a day.
You just replace it, yeah.
No, I agree. But
especially if it's a G. If it has 3G embedded.
I would love that, because I would have multiple bands, and especially one for night, one for day, and you can charge them.
It does look like the band might be replaceable.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
pretty
I
sure
don't see how, but it almost looks like it might snap into, it encases
the
it
whole
on
thing.
the outside.
Yeah, it snaps out.
Because it's got those two little, on the white one, you can see it's got those two
in
little
the white one you see
spots.
it,
The only reason I would say probably not, or why it doesn't seem like that to me, is only because it has the door already for the SIM card and the heart rate monitor, so they'd have to build something to hold those mechanisms in there.
No, I'm saying I think it almost that mechanism pops in place. It goes all the way. So the band has an opening in the middle and then goes all the way around. So
I see what you're saying.
The basis, I think, was that way.
No, the basis. No,
it's not.
It has to have the
Misfit?
charger that does wrap around.
The Misfit is, yeah.
From the old, but from the other, the Samsung Gear, the original Samsung Gear, I think it was a similar design.
Yeah.
No, but you know what, Libby? This Gear, the Gear 2, for instance, it doesn't have nothing if you look at the white one, like Aaron was saying, it has things that indicate you could pop that out.
Yeah, it almost looks like there's these little things that could
They
pop
never
out.
had that, yeah.
Yeah, can you hold up the face, Cecilia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so the other one does. Yeah, you're right. It does
It's
look like it's
containing the whole thing, and in the back is where you can notice this has nothing to snap out.
Right.
But the other one seems like you snap the whole content. I will give them some credit, because honestly, and also there's things that the Tizen operating system has that Wear doesn't. Android Wear somehow decided that a watch should not speak to you ever. And I'm very, very in disagreement with that. My Gear 2 can talk to me, especially if there's a phone call.
Micro interactions, right? I think the solution, I guess, would be have the ability to turn it off. Frankly,
if I want to mute my phone, that's so simple. Every phone you can mute, every watch you will be able to mute, but don't decide for the developers, don't decide for the users.
So I have a question for you guys. So it looks like this watch is designed so that it can be used instead of a phone with 3G reception and everything. Would you guys consider replacing your phone with this?
No, it's additional. You're going for a run. Perfect. No phone.
Mm-hmm.
The screen is not suitable for long
and
consumption.
Aaron, to that point, people are going to say, well, yeah, I'm done with phones. This is going to
replace. Oh, yeah.
In before the first TechCrunch article about throwing away your phone, blah, blah, blah.
What was the watch that had the SIM card that everybody was freaking out about? That didn't
OMate. I think.
Yeah, the OMate.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Huge,
I'm going to replace my phone with this watch.
No.
But honestly, it will not replace it 100%.
Issues.
But don't you agree that there's many situations when you will feel to go out lightly and say, you know what?
I completely agree with you, Cecilia. When I go to the the gym. If I could like stream music from my watch, I would certainly not bring my phone out for that, unless I know that I would be like typing out a message or something.
So one thing we haven't mentioned, that's a very good point, Keith. Bundled with that announcement was this fancy necklace that it was a Bluetooth headset that, and I have the link here
It
somewhere.
reminds me a lot of this. This is my like
phone, right?
This with the little headphone thing.
Yep. So
the only thing that was a little different about this one was it's got the clasp where it'll actually like kind of seal itself in the front.
Right.
Kind of neat. But, yeah.
And okay, so what's the feasibility like that for something in the gym? Do you find yourself using that in the gym? I mean, I can't see myself doing burpees with something like that around my neck.
To be honest, I like it so much more than I even expected to. When I was first looking for a Bluetooth headset, I was looking at the Motorola had one that like mounted here and kind of wrapped around the back of your head. And there were a few other options that had cables and stuff. And honestly, I thought this kind of looked weird, and I wasn't that crazy about it. Problem is, everything I tried was like either really uncomfortable, like the Motorola really pinched, like when it was holding on, and other things, especially like with like a long cable, anything that tapped it, whether it was because I was running or because it was hitting on the machine or whatever, was just causing a lot of like noise in the earpiece. This has been perfect, actually. The only thing that I would change about it is it's got this little LED that blinks all the time. But I wear it at the office when I'm listening to music. I wear it at the gym. I mean, Libby will tell you I wear it probably 80% of the time that I'm awake. So it's really
all
nice.
right, Cecilia. LG would love to hear that. So I just recorded everything. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you could. I think you
the battery
could
is
maybe
always
replace your phone as the connection device, but I think we'll always want a larger screen.
Oh yeah.
Device.
That's a great point because
Connection.
I feel like with the small tablets and the phones kind of converging on like a medium sized, I can imagine in a couple of years, like, you know, wearing a watch like as a default device, like unless that I know I want to use the screen, and then I'll bring it out, kind of like a person would do with the camera now.
Yeah.
That's fair. One retort I might have with the gym thing, and I've been to a lot of gyms with terrible Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi only because you don't get service, and that seems to be, maybe I'm just striking out. Every single gym that I've frequented, either Gold's gyms or Snap Fitness, what have you, seem to always have terrible 3-4G cell service, and so they offer Wi-Fi, which gets oversaturated, and blah blah blah. So whether you're, in my case, at least in this area, whether you have 3G or not in your watch, it really wouldn't do me any good because I wouldn't be able to.
But that's the same as in the phone. It's not going to be.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly my point. Yeah, so you can't win either way. So.
Yeah, and if I can just speak one more thing to the design of this, like I mean, I've been a little critical of Samsung, maybe a little bit more than critical of Samsung devices in general, but I gotta say this is a really nice looking watch from them.
But
and if they can make it tether, what's that?
They put a lot of work into the design. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the design is really nice, and I don't imagine it will have that always-on heart rate monitor, which would be really nice for me. But if it can like tether to non-Samsung phones, I would actually consider this.
Yeah.
Well, there's the Dyson thing, and that's a big question because there's going to be like two lines here. People that think that a watch is a watch is a watch. They're not going to grow so much. They're not going to evolve so much. I probably think they're wrong. And then Tyson could work, and other operating systems they don't need so much of an ecosystem. But if what we all think is going to happen is they're going to need a whole blown ecosystem, they need to be Android.
Except the problem with the services, like they were able to get around Maps by using Nokia's Maps, but things like Gmail, I don't think Google's going to make like a Gmail app.
But
You can read your emails here. You can get notifications and read your emails.
So it's used like an IMAP type.
You actually have, in some regards, notifications are not as fancy and as good looking, but they're more effective. Like I can see every Google Plus notification by separate here, where in Android Wear you get a blob. When you get too many, you just can see.
What about Hangouts? Hangouts would be kind of key for me. Maybe everybody wouldn't want that, but
Hangouts, it's harder. Yeah.
My thought about this is that, and I'm going to probably say this multiple times today, it shouldn't matter what platform your ubiquitous wearable device is running, right? And to me, it shouldn't matter at all. Like, I'm a watch guy. I used to collect watches. I really loved the internals of it, and I would sort of stick to one quote unquote platform. But then I didn't have the money to keep up that habit, so then I would start collecting watches mostly on what the facade looked like, what it was able to do. Was it a driving watch when I was learning how to dive? Was it a chronograph? Like, what features did really interested me? And frankly, when we start moving into wearables and things that should sort of abstract away like the operating system, that we shouldn't, we won't be focusing on what makes it tick. It should just
I'm
be.
not sure that is true because you're gonna want your apps, like Keith was talking about Hangouts, for instance. That's key for him, and everybody's gonna have their key apps. And for me, Skype. Like I can't go in the street without Skype.
You see, that's a problem with, and I'm gonna starkly disagree there, and that's just my opinion, because there are some features, and this is a problem I had with OMate. You should not have features that we're so used to on cell phones and computers on devices that shouldn't.
But you will. The screens will get bigger. The screens will get larger, and you're gonna get your 3G there. We're already seeing this. It's going to happen.
See,
and we will use it for everything.
I kind of agree with Noble's point, though, and I think that's the mistake that OMate made, was that they tried to integrate. They really tried to make the watch a phone. They really tried to make the watch something that you hold to your face.
But you are not agreeing to how they did it, not what they did. So they did it wrong, but the way they did it was wrong. What they did, we're gonna all want more. Like Android Wear could do the same thing and do it right.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay.
My thing with the watch is, even with the Tizen operating system, I mean, are you really going to want Hangouts on your watch? Because I personally, like, I use my Samsung. Yeah,
but give it 2 years.
Give
it 2 years, you will.
I mean, like for myself, I do actually check it on the watch more than the phone when I have the watch on. I don't respond, obviously.
But it's a notification. You're using it as
a notification. If there were a little camera on there, that wouldn't be a horrible experience.
No.
In other words, next episode, Aaron's going to join us from his watch, and
look what I'm looking at. That's one little design feature, and we should move on, that I hated from the past Samsung devices. This is just not right.
Well, the way they did the camera where it was facing outside the wrist was dumb. Put it facing towards you, maybe.
It's there. Yeah.
Selfie mode.
Well,
I remember someone asked me.
Honestly, nothing can be as bad as what OMate had. I don't know if you guys ever tried the camera on that thing facing forward, kind of like Spider-Man version.
Yeah.
Except all of your pictures were half covered by your own hand, and they were all crooked.
I'm glad they decided to sort of simplify. I don't know whether we have it in our show notes, but they did release a teaser of what's to come. It's more in the pebble steel kind of market. But before we move on, and let's dwell on reveling with this LG device.
We haven't even talked about it.
Yeah, it looks just like any other smartwatch that I have laying around here. Not smartwatch, but just a regular
watch. Yeah.
A regular watch. I'm not convinced that this is a real Android Wear device until I see it for realsies.
Yeah, I haven't seen any functionality at all. Not even a picture.
And every one of them has I guess that is different.
There is one I've seen on somebody's wrist, but it doesn't show off any wear features.
No, though if you'll notice the one on the person's wrist, if you zoom in a little bit, you'll notice that it's rendered. It's fake.
Upside down.
So,
it is upside down.
I think there's a little bit of fakery going on.
Let me check the source I had, because I was pretty sure I saw an actual on wrist.
Oh wait, no, it's not upside down. That's
not upside down.
No, there's another one that is upside down. If you go back a few more pictures, there is one that is upside down. I was noticing that.
That one's not upside down. It's on his right hand. That's just zoomed way in, and so his right hand is facing out, and so it is upside down. But if he looked at it, it would be right side up.
All right.
No. The very first picture.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not actually upside down. See, the very first picture is just a zoom in of that picture.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They just took it.
They just
that was
zoomed
a
in
bad
on his
idea. That was
I
a
got
bad
one
idea.
question, because you did point out that they don't have the flat tire effect on this one, which Motorola said was like a technical requirement they couldn't get around. I'm a little curious if
it's the bezel though. They're
I was wondering if this is actually a square display, like it's kind of shielded by the round porthole in front of it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It might be actually interesting. Very.
I don't know. It'd be tough.
You don't
No,
have the
it has-
space to do that.
Well,
Yeah,
no, but you
there's
see
not
how
enough
like
space.
how on the outside of the round part there's like more like housing there.
Yeah, but there's
No,
not
but that's
enough.
not possible though, because then what would happen, I think, is that developers would sort of develop for,
They're
for
going to develop the
Oh no! I mean the
Cover
device can advertise itself as being round and it can ignore all the pixels that are being hidden. I just mean physically, is it a square display?
Oh, that's possible. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I don't think.
Because you notice how the
Your
display is also
mouth,
set
your
back
mouth
in.
is not enough.
It's not like on the surface; it's set back like below that round portion.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
there's still
I've
not
zoomed
enough.
in a little bit.
It's not really relevant, I guess. I was just curious.
No, it's a very good question, actually.
No, but try to draw it. Try to draw it, and I don't
Yeah,
think
draw
you have enough.
draw a square. You can't reach.
You can't
it
reach.
wouldn't
No.
fit. It just wouldn't fit. It would go out. The points would go out past the
So
circle.
from here to here, that's Keith.
Yeah,
You make
it's
a very
legit.
interesting, debatable issue. It's kind of close.
Well,
I guess
I
I'll
dare you to
fix the
draw
hands
it.
on
I
one.
dare you to
I'm,
draw
I'm
it.
drawing it. I'm drawing it.
Yeah.
So we're already suspecting these renders are a little bit not legitimate.
That's true. And already, who can guess my opinion on this another round watch?
All right, I'm
See?
drawing a square.
I just did the same thing. Look, it won't fit.
It won't fit.
I proved it. It proved it.
It's kind of close, though, man.
It's
Yeah,
close.
but it
The
won't
close
quite
doesn't,
fit.
Not
doesn't do
close.
it. No.
Okay, I rescind
Close
my.
doesn't cut it. Sure. Okay.
I think it's funny we both used awesome screenshots.
That's right. All right, you win. I forget. We're doing a show. Jeez.
Yeah, we are doing something.
All right, okay. Let me.
So the LG Watch looks awesome if it's not, fake.
It's a
If not
fantastic
fake,
analog
I'm
watch.
convinced.
It does-
The team at LG GWAR, that's the department name, I know for a fact. They watch this show and they love today's host. So, guys, just ship us. I've got my address. I'm going to post it to
Yeah.
you. And
You'd like a
just
tester?
ship me a few units. I want a white and a black version just so I can see how it looks, and I'll pimp you guys out on my next world tour.
If you'd like to launch the watch officially at the Big Android
At
Barbecue,
the Big
we can
Android
arrange
Barbecue.
that.
Sure.
I think we can make that happen.
We've actually
Yeah.
still got our top tier sponsorship available. You could brand the barbecue as the LG
That's right, that's right.
Barbecue.
Barbecue. All right. Let's move on to the next. So many watches. I guess IFA is coming, so everyone has to. IFA is the European CES. So everyone's sort of shoring up their new gadgets. ASUS next up on deck, but just teased a sort of roundish, I guess rectangular,
Oblong?
round. What's the technical term for a rectangular
Oval?
thing with rounded edges?
It's a nice shape.
Oblong.
It's that's patented by Apple, I believe. But,
nice shape.
By Apple. So yeah, whatever it is, I know there's a technical name for it. I can't remember. But yes, it looks decent, but it doesn't really tell us anything that we don't know. All in all, it's great to see different designs and different sort of form factors for Android Wear, and I guess ties in one case. But I would love to see smaller watch faces, but of course we're not there yet.
Oh, I meant to say that earlier. I feel like the Samsung S is probably the most female-friendly smartwatch that's come out so far.
Like fashion, heavy fashion, high
Yes.
fashion kind of thing.
Wouldn't look too big on. Like I could see my wife wearing it. Like it wouldn't look funny on her.
Or
leg.
it might
You know,
come out
it's-
like the Motorola X, and you'll see it on someone's hand, and it looks massive.
Yeah,
It-
I mean,
it's
it could be. I'm
hard
just
to say.
judging from renders or photos online. So
for all of these devices, even the curved ones, I do worry a little bit because people have quite different size wrists, and what happens if your wrist is too small? If you get this weird, like, not quite touching,
the curve doesn't fit.
like, yeah.
Hey,
So-
Samsung was looking for flexible display ideas.
Right.
Display they can do, but it's like
Yeah,
everything
maybe.
else is pretty hard.
I know, it sucks.
Michael Ricky from our audience in the questions and answers, he's kind of commenting on the Moto 360 and that blind spot, and I think he's right in reminding us that it was a proximity sensor and ambient light that they couldn't place anywhere else, but I don't see that other manufacturers couldn't place it somewhere else. It's just
Like
something that...
LG would have used the bezel the fake bezel, or the fake, what's it called, the chronograph, the compass, or whatever you call it. God, I can't think of what the name is. Anyway, so yeah, they could probably hide it there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Motorola's making the
I don't
best.
think the Samsung even has. Do they have ambient light and proximity?
They have to have, otherwise you couldn't do...
Yeah, you could,
right?
No, it could use this as like a touch input.
Oh, you know what? Actually, this is kind of
it could use motion sensor to determine when you're looking at it.
I thought you could cover it without touching. And
the LG one doesn't have an ambient light sensor. Like you can set.
That's not working.
But there's no auto level, and if you touch it, like it's definitely
only when I touch it does it do it.
Oh, okay. That's why I never got it to work. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't think it has ambient or proximity sensors on the front or anywhere.
Not with the live.
I don't know how
important
important
I see
those
is the microphone on the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they couldn't add that kind of stuff. I don't know if Wear supports those kind of sensors though. At least not yet.
I think not yet.
But I think it'd be awesome if they would add some of that.
It's coming though.
You know, I would like it. I think the screen is really bright on this. Like, so if it gets dark, the screen would dim automatically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's Asus or Asus, however you want to call it.
I like their shape. I like their shape a lot, like a lot.
It's interesting.
And it's going to be a sub $100, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like their price. That is an amazing
I
price.
like their price also.
Well, before we move off of that, I should mention, since I think this is the last watch one that we have for a while, I should mention that if you go to the gym a lot and you do kettlebells, I don't know whether guys know what a kettlebell is, and you do the kettlebell reach, you should never use your smartwatch because you will shatter the screen.
I mean, I was sure I broke my screen so many times, and
I know.
it's been resilient. I'm surprised.
It's been pretty resilient for me, but every time I just
kettlebells.
glad it's and I think it's maybe liquid crystal or something. I don't know.
You were defeated by the kettlebell.
And just for quick reference on this price, because it is significantly lower than all the other Android Wear devices out there, and this is actually cheaper than some like the Fitbit devices. I mean, their Fitbit Force is like $120, I think.
And Asus, by the way, we still have sponsorship opportunities if you would like to come out to the Big Android Barbecue.
Aha. Asus does watch.
I know they listen. They watch the show.
They do watch the show every morning over milk and cookies.
Yeah, the CEO wrote me a handwritten letter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Was it
I
on special
mailed it.
stationery?
It was. It had Pokemon on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Pokemon
Pikachu's.
stationary guy, do we know when it's going to be released? September 3rd.
September 3rd is what it said in my
Which is the day
handwritten note.
before IFA starts. So, they're trying to get a little
So,
bit more.
audience, consider yourself completely informed about the Guar, the Gears, and the it's called the Gears, and the
I love you.
Asus doesn't get is it Asus or Asus or Asus?
I've always said Asus.
Okay. I always say Asus, and then they correct me, and they say it's Asus, and then it's
Let's call it As Us.
As Us. That's right. AUS, as USA. Okay. Google acquires Gecko Design. I have no idea who put this in here. I would love for one of you guys to take it on. They designed the original Fitbit. Go. Someone, please.
That's
good for them.
pretty much it. So it's a design firm, as far as I know, and they've done some stuff for Sonos, HP, Logitech, and the original Fitbit device. So what was interesting kind of about where they're joining is Google X. So I'm not sure if this means there's another like Google X related wearable device they're looking at doing, but I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Cool. And they're mostly hardware guys. I'm sure they're going to get dispersed between different projects, given the way Google X works.
Yeah.
They may be building drones. Yeah, remember?
They may be building drones, that's true. Yeah, they had a big announcement today.
Yeah.
Google had that big announcement.
Glad we got that out of the way because I wanted to mention drones. At least one.
Gotta check.
Check that box. I actually even put it in the show notes as a wild card. I got deleted.
We need a drinking game, I think. Yeah.
So we've got again, in a world where technology becomes ubiquitous, it shouldn't matter what the tech is, as long as it does what it says it's going to do. Polo is making a smart shirt. It's gonna look. It's gonna make you look very, very buff and African American.
Apparently.
Regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, you'll look like an African American male. Very, very muscular. And it's going to be snug. Most of these shirts have to be smart, especially if the sensors are woven into the fabric, so that you can sort of capture subtle things like breathing, heart rate, so on and so forth, without any external sensors. It's going to be machine washable. The way that works is, from my little research, is that the sensors themselves are dumb, right? They're just they're not lit up without a battery-powered thingy that fits either on the side, sometimes in the back if it's for football players. But in this case, it'll probably just be clipped somewhere around comfortably, or the picture might actually tell us. Anyway, it's going to have a Bluetooth module, obviously, to communicate with other BTLE devices or its own devices, right? Accelerometer, gyroscopes. They're going heavy. It's very interesting that it's Polo of all companies.
I was a little surprised.
I'm sorry. How can
by
you
that.
tell by looking at it that it's Polo?
Oh yeah, it's not subtle.
They don't really brand
It's
it.
very subtle.
No, not at all. I am a little surprised that it's coming from Polo and not someone like Nike or Adidas.
Or Under Armour.
Well, this is
Under Armour,
showing you that everybody's jumping on this wagon, really.
And that's
what
why
it
it
is.
shouldn't matter. That's why Fossil and Rolex and all these guys are going to start jumping aboard, and Apple and everyone.
As I recall, we actually talked about another device. I don't think it was Ralph Lauren, but another shirt that had a similar.
OM shirt, the Ohm shirt.
Ohm Signal. There's
Oh,
Silk. There's another company called Sensilk. There's Hexoskin.
Exaskin, great,
Exaskin.
cool
Yeah.
guys.
I can
and
sneak this in
friends.
there. Intel had showed one off too.
And Intel. Under Armour, someone mentioned it, Under Armour, they have their own R&D stuff that they're working on. Reebok has something going on. I know Adidas's Me line has a fabric research and R&D thing. What's very, very weird, is that not a single one of these guys, Signal, Hexoskin, Sensilk, none of these guys have launched a product. They've all mostly had successful Kickstarter projects, not seen the light of day as far as market is concerned. And right now we're only just sort of, betting on who's going to sort of launch.
And they're pretty expensive on what we've seen so far, right?
Not really. The fabrics themselves are not that expensive.
The products I like Exaskin, and they run $350 for a t-shirt. I mean,
Oh wow,
this
that
is
is
not the
a lot.
kind of money we
Market
used
is
to
going
pay.
to tell on that one. They're going to change their price quick as soon as Reebok comes out with it.
Yes, as long as it's
I remember
possible. That's the thing.
The Ohm shirt wasn't bad though. I think it was $200 for the sensor, for the shirt with the sensor. But then if you wanted to get another shirt, it was only like $50.
Right.
You can you can reuse the battery pack or the sensor.
Right. It's a great business model. Might I say?
If anyone decided to start one, that'd be fantastic.
What'd you say?
If anybody decided to actually start one, it'd be fantastic.
Right, exactly. Actually ship into the market and get us to buy it and check it out. There's something going on. It's so weird. None of them have shipped anything.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, there's none on the market. There's a lot of fanfare about it, but we just haven't seen any movement.
Maybe the battery gets too hot.
No idea.
Yeah, there's something. There's
There's a lot of IP floating around. Ohm Signal claims they have IP. Everyone claims they have the same IP, or they've filed it. I don't know how that's possible, but there's something fishy going on. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna just leave my little opinion piece there. All right, next story. The year wearables got serious, 2014. 6 million devices sold in the first half of 2004. And this is just not, I'm guessing this isn't smart wrist devices alone.
Just for sort of comparison, all of the expectations like at the end of last year for what 2014 were supposed to be was like 4 million for the year, and those were considered pretty optimistic. So what we've seen this year already is 6 million devices. That includes any kind of band, so like the fitness trackers up to smartwatches and things, but only for the first half of the year. So it's not really including any of the Android Wear stuff, anything that Apple could or maybe not coming out with later this year, or the devices we just talked about that'll also be out this year.
And I actually saw those same numbers. I've been looking at it. It's the 91.6. You have that number? 91.6 smartwatch units projected to be sold by 2018. That's a $9.2 billion smartwatch market. They're within the last couple months, 350% growth in smart bands, 700% increase from January 2013 through December 2013. That's 1 year, not year over year. That's massive, and Apple hasn't even entered the market.
That was my comment. I especially in the smartwatches environment, I believe that until Apple comes in, it's not gonna be official for that's my opinion. I think they're going to make the official smartwatch launch when Apple comes into the picture.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Apple's going to, and I'm hoping it's going to be September 9th. I'm really hoping it's this coming announcement that they're going to just finally release whatever it is that they've been working on.
Did everybody
I agree with you on that? What's that?
Did you guys all get invites to that?
Nope.
Because we're on stage. I'm just kidding. Woo!
And it got silent.
Yeah, no, I was definitely agreeing on the Apple comment as being that's when it'll start. Except that I am wondering if it'll sort of depend a little bit on what Apple releases. If they release, a relatively inexpensive device that's more of a fitness tracker, then I think that's true. But if it's still going to be like a $400 or $500 really smartwatch device, I would say that. It's not going to have as much of an impact.
But it's not. I think the point with Apple launching the device is not so much people buying that one. I think it's about this thing that everybody will, it's legitimization, and this is the desired object now. Everybody will want to have a watch. Then the people have Android, they will go with their Android brands. Everybody will buy their own thing. There's all sorts of prices and ranges and brands. So they will just launch the market.
I see what you're saying. I just think with these numbers, I'm kind of thinking it's already started. I mean, whether or not Apple does.
It's there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say the market is there. Apple coming on board just kind of legitimizes the segment.
Yeah,
it makes it official.
And regardless of whether it's going to be a tracker or a full-blown smartwatch, the fact that you can actually wear an Apple device on your physical person somewhere, legitimately, where you don't have to have a strap or.
What will be interesting is if the Apple Watch, the iWatch, will work with anything but an iPhone, or if
of course it will. Of course it will.
An iPhone.
I mean, I know it won't, but
99.999% possibility.
Yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar. And so we all know that in this wearable world, though, everyone is going to have their niche, right? Apple is also releasing their watch, their iBand, or whatever it's going to be called, in tandem with their health kit platform. Google wants to sort of do the same strategy as they did with Android and just sort of be everywhere on every wrist-worn device, from the cheap ones to the super premium ones. And there are other guys out there, like Fitbit made their name with step tracking, very inaccurate step tracking, but
it's accurate. I will stand by Fitbit.
It's one of the best.
Yeah, no. And I know this because my Garmin is the most accurate ever, and
I will say this: between Fitbit and Jawbone, I think they may use similar sensors because they're always within like.
And it's actually the sensors are really playing a very minute. The pedometer is playing a minute role. It's the algorithm that's very similar. So
maybe that's what it is
how
then.
they're doing. But speaking of Jawbone, they actually, and it's actually great to segue into that, is their niche, as I mentioned before, is slowly or obviously becoming sleep, right? And sleep tracking being super important for everyone who's human. Is a market that these guys are completely cornering. They were able to determine who, didn't get any sleep during the unfortunate earthquake in Napa a few actually past.
A couple days ago, yeah, that was a couple days
Was
ago.
it this past week or last week?
It was this past weekend.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, and so my question to the panel here is I know the answer, but is it creepy that Jawbone tracks your sleeping habits and presents the data for everyone to see,
Yes.
or is it very useful that you sleep?
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe people
No, I
were
think it's kind of
asking me
their
on a
job.
post that I made, but
Yeah, maybe you're not gonna get a job because your employer will go like, no, this guy has insomnia every night, or they're partying every night.
They didn't release
considering now that we are not just
they released a trend graph. I mean, that doesn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those little dots that made that trend, Aaron.
But it's not. It's anonymous. Anonymous.
Well, but how is it anonymous? I see myself right there in Napa at 5 a.m. That was me.
That was you.
Dot right there.
You were in Napa at 5 a.m.
Everybody knows that dot looks like Nobel Ackerson. Yeah. Okay.
It might actually not be that difficult to narrow down because how many people in Napa were wearing their Jawbone at that time?
Come on.
Yeah.
But even so, these are percentages, and I'm pretty sure they were sampling like 10,000.
All right, sorry. I just saw another ridiculous, private.
You might remember that last week we had another similar graph from Jawbone where they were doing like city by city comparisons. They were showing like different cities around the world, like where people were waking up, how late they were staying up on the weekends.
That's super useful. And if you sort of plot that in some sort of as usual, I'm going long with this episode. Sorry, guys. Yeah, if you sort of plot that in sort of like a map and just sort of see as people wake up with Jawbone. Jawbone, I know you guys watch the show all the time. Sponsor Big Under Barbecue and do make it happen. Give me a little spinny 3D globe with little points of when people are waking up. That would be the best visualization of your data ever. Free.
That would be cool.
I own 2% of your company because of their advice. Anyway, so tracking earthquakes, awesome. It's not violating anyone's privacy. It's actually useful. We get to see trends and habits, and everyone sings Kumbaya. And
this is the other one, by the way. So this was the so you can see like New York versus San Francisco, Beijing, and even like when people were disturbed during like the time zone changes and stuff like that, or when the New Year's whatever happened, like you can see how like that was affected.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. All right, now let's go into Intel. What are they working on these days? They have built a 3G modem as small as a penny. And I'm guessing that's powering the Samsung device that we were talking about
That's
earlier.
what I'm thinking. Even though they say that they won't tell what devices it's in yet.
I think they don't really need this. This is just the next thing that will be amazing. This is one of those things that happens and it could go so silently, but it's going to impact the Internet of Things pretty much.
Like graphene or something? Or
Internet of Things.
So this only has real value, though, if the carriers decide that they're willing to become a dumb pipe.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably
true.
Since I'm sure something as small doesn't have antennas for all the different frequencies, I'm sure it's probably working for the GSM, so T-Mobile and AT&T. And in T-Mobile's case, they seem to be willing to be the dumb pipe, at least if you ask.
They're definitely the one that would be willing to do that. Where I pay one thing, maybe I have one account, I pay one bill for an allotment of data, and I can use it for as many different devices as I want.
Yep. And so net neutrality.
But the other things I think, do you think it's possible with this kind of device to do what Qualcomm is trying to do, where this device, instead of connecting only to probably be more Wi-Fi, connecting with other things that are nearby and forming like an ad hoc network?
A mesh network.
Yeah. But this is more 3G, so.
I do think that I'm just holding on to hope that the Google little balloon thing and the other wind turbine looking thing sort of flies
True.
my house and gives me internet anytime I want. But yeah, that's it with the Intel. Any other notes about it? I think that's very necessary. I'm happy to see that IP on everything is actually not just a funny pun, but it's actually happening. RunScribe, the wearable running coach. Where have I heard that before? It's like this lynx cat thing that did something similar. No, but this is a new wearable that wants you to run safer. And I just repeat the headline from Engadget. Safer, better, smarter, and safer. Because there's one thing that I know about running is that every single thing that I do, just speaking for myself, when I run, when a professional looks at me running, they always tell me I'm doing it wrong. Even if I do it right, another professional tells the other professional who just told me I was doing it wrong that I'm doing it wrong again. There's always going to be something incorrect about how you run, and a computer now is going to tell you how to fix it, hopefully, better than a human, which is awesome. Hopefully the people who wrote the software to power it aren't know what they're talking about. But yes,
it seems to have like 13 metrics. That's 13 data points. It's huge, like number of footsteps, distance, pace, stride rate, stride length, contact time. Oh my gosh, it's like a bunch of impact.
Now I wonder, because another thing where real coaches sort of are sticklers for, they're sort of, I notice that they're very biased as to how they run, as how they teach people to run. You'll notice people who try to get into running, people who are really into running with their toes so that you can sort of maximize your calf so that you're not heel striking all the time, apparently is a good thing. And this is the crowd that tend to run with the, what's that weird Vibrams. Yeah, yep. And then you've got an entirely different sect of people who just don't want to do that because apparently that's why we evolved heels, right? You're supposed to use them. So anyway, I'm very interested in how this is going to coach. If I want to be able to run with Vibrams, I wonder whether it's going to be smart enough to adjust. But I guess we'll wait and find out.
It's interesting how they did it, where it attaches to the back of your shoe without, you can use it with any shoe apparently. And
I thought that was kind of clever.
It's kind of clever.
So along those lines, Cecilia, we've already talked about it on the show a few times. The other wearable device, Y'all, that was like a wearable socks. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a few months ago that I think we talked about
I guess. But the whole idea was that you could use whatever shoe and you'd get metrics on your phone as you're running, because all we do when we run is look at our phones to see how well we're doing. So I wonder how Running Coach is going to solve this problem, whether I need to look at my phone while I run or after I run. We'll see.
Yeah, probably after you run and watch. The watch could be a problem.
That's where they need to start working with Samsung.
Yeah.
Not to give away our secrets or anything, but don't work with Samsung. It's a terrible idea. GoPro, next story. GoPro, of course they've created a wearable. Why wouldn't they? GoPro created a wearable for dogs.
There aren't enough wearables for animals out there.
There aren't.
Kudos to them. I like it.
To be honest, let me talk about GoPro really quick. I have a feeling in somewhere deep down in a basement dungeon of the GoPro labs, there is an awesome Google Glass competitor coming out that is going to blow Recon.
It's their only chance.
I just see, like, I have this vision that it's going to just be so awesome, so like athletically rugged, and I just want it to happen. Maybe I'm just living a dream. Anyway, so Bulldogs and with Fitbits. Anyone want to take this one?
I got nothing.
I think it speaks for itself.
$60, you get People that have pets spend a lot of money on pets. So.
$60 is actually cheap in the category of like GoPro.
Yeah.
See, it would make more sense on a cat that roams. In my opinion, it would make more sense on a cat that roams around.
I like the
See where
idea,
a
but the
cat
weight
goes?
might be an issue for a cat.
Well, it might be an issue for my cat, but there's some cats out there that are pretty big.
They don't like having stuff on top of the cats. That would be hard.
All right, so ever since the lightning round is a new phenomenon. I remember one of the first episodes that I hosted, I introduced something called the McLaughlin Group round, where I just basically sort of ring around the roses and just asked people questions, and that really failed a miserable death. But what do we do here in this lightning round? Do we just sort of speed through everything?
I just make funny noises.
I'm glad someone asked.
If anybody wants to chime in, otherwise you can just keep going.
When I get bored with the topic, I make a funny noise and we move on.
All right.
I like that approach.
All right, so is the Glass launch approaching? Is Glass still a thing, by the way?
Come on.
I heard Glass was dead. Long live Glass, right?
Right.
Alright. Apparently the terms of service got changed. Some Hawkeye noticed it, and it mentioned a price drop and stuff like that. Yes.
Apparently, if the price changes within 30 days, you get a refund of the
Glass is going to launch at some point. We know this, and this is not news.
Yeah, and all the references to beta were taken out. That was kind of the key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently Glass is launching, and within 30 days, they're going to lower the price.
That is awesome for Google. I get it.
That's not what it is. They're going to lower the price when they launch, and they don't want everybody that purchased in the last 3 years
Right.
to be, begging them for new devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Because
wonder, do you
So
need
we
to
start
start
begging
looking
now,
now
then.
hardware revision, or is it done?
No, it's definitely. I think it's definitely going to have a hardware revision. If you notice, every single comment response, every single response from the Google Glass Google Plus page to comments like "When is Glass launching?" It's always carefully crafted as this version of Glass is X, and the next version of Glass will do Y. So I'm just going to take that and just draw my own conclusion.
Interesting.
Cool. Okay.
All right. ESPN scores comes to Pebble, and no. If I do have a question about this, if a Pebble wearer got ESPN on their Pebble in the forest and no one heard it, does anyone care?
Great question. This is a great question.
All right. Pandora comes to Google Glass. I've got another question. If a Google Glass
No, I love Pandora. Hello, I love
I think
Pandora.
this is
I'm going
actually
to defend
good.
it.
I'm happy about Pandora coming to
Pandora
Glass.
is awesome. I'm actually going to listen music in Glass. It's like my Glass week because I got the frames and now I'm going to have Pandora. It's like, okay, I'm using Glass.
All right, so Glass got a little bit of love. So people actually listen to music on Glass still? That's a thing?
I thought they killed the Google
Why
Music
not?
app. Oh,
I
no,
think
no,
it's
they
better.
didn't. I think they just limited the device.
No, Google Music is still there. I barely use it. I used it a lot, but then I shouldn't admit this, but I don't go
drain on
running
the
with
battery.
Glass anymore. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, it's just such a drain on the battery. It's a problem.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll judge it when I try Pandora. I don't even think... I've been boycotting Pandora for no reason. I just don't find use for it. I just didn't like the whole skipping thing. And so maybe on Glass it might have a different experience I might consider. So do they still do the little skip limit, which is the dumbest feature, just to charge
Oh, yeah,
them?
6 skips in an hour unless you pay for Pro or something like that.
Arbitrary. But I understand
Don't
the
skip so much.
It's not
Enjoy.
their fault. It's not their
Pick a
fault.
better station.
Usually when you skip, though, it becomes smarter and it goes back to the root of the radio, the radio station, so I don't mind because I usually skip one and it kind of gets it. It's like, oh, okay, this is not what
Just
you want.
create a Red Hot Chili Peppers station and you'll never have to skip again because it plays awesome music.
It just, okay. So,
Hey.
Not all Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Californication.
You can do trance, you can do,
Yeah, you could do other stuff. I was just saying. That's the
DJ.
station. I
Awesome
don't think I've ever
station.
skipped on my Red Hot Chili Peppers
I
station.
never skip on my Tiesto station.
as long as they don't screw up my Mel Haggard music collection. Jeez, terrible.
Moody music.
All right, smartwatch looking at Wait, sorry.
Swatch.
Guar.
old.
This is
What happened
screw
with
lightning
that?
around.
That's old.
Guar looking at smartwatches. Yeah, so Swatch is looking at smartwatches. Everyone's looking at smartwatches. I heard Timberland was looking at smartwatches, and they make shoes. Samsung Gear Store now has 1,000 apps. That is awesome. Apple has a ton more. Sorry, Samsung. Don't like you guys. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I actually really do like you. Write the check. All right. Was unimpressed by current smartwatches. Is a smart man, but he's also Captain Obvious a lot. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this news?
Well, no. I have to defend him. He's right that bigger screens are the future of watches, and we'll see it. Even if nobody believes it now, I can
bigger
bet.
screen, get a tablet.
No, you have bigger screen in your arm, and that's all you're gonna wear, and they're gonna be round, and that's all gonna happen.
Yeah, Woz wants a cuff. He wants a bigger than an iPhone current screen.
I know we talk about cuffs a lot
What's the
here.
Wonder Woman little thingy? What's it called?
Power bands.
Is that what it's called? Power band?
I don't know.
Yeah. So whatever.
No, that sounds too much. Yeah, that sounds too much.
That's not what Wonder Woman wears. It is a smart device, Wonder Woman's little thingy, because it knows how to
more power bands too.
It knows how to deflect bullets from any direction too. It's really, really smart. It wants Woz wants phone independence as well. So Woz has obviously been leaking Samsung secrets. Anything else?
Bigger display. Oh, he wants speakerphone. He said the speakers should not suck.
That's Woz has been reading and listening to Cecilia's TEDx talk.
He's right. I think like the guy.
All right, I get it. We already talked about.
And he thinks that health things will be built in. Health aids will be built in. Man, what an innovator!
Yeah. Maybe all of these things are just precursors to what we're going to hear in a few weeks from Apple. Maybe he just went rogue and spilled all the beans. Maybe this is going to be a new Beats by Dre watch thing.
You know, I love Woz, but I don't think he's in the inside Apple circles anymore. I don't think they trust him to keep a secret.
No.
I mean, I think we're safe saying that, one, an iWatch is definitely not going to have a SIM slot and be standalone and have its own cellular radio. It's not going to be bigger than, maybe 2 by 2 inches. So it's not going to get his 4-inch screen. Right. It's not. It might have a good speakerphone. I don't know. I mean, if Apple puts a speaker in it, it'll probably be good. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a headphone jack in.
All right.
Their new
We haven't done this in a while. Before we continue, we haven't done this in a while. Any across the panel? This is part of the lightning round. Before we jump into events, what is the price of the iWatch band thingy from iOS and Apple? Aaron, go.
What is it going to cost to buy an iWatch? $349.
$349. We got $349. Cecilia.
$399.
$400. $399.
That was me too. $399.
$399 across the board. No, not quite really, because Libby hasn't said
I'll
anything.
have to say $450.
$450.
I was thinking $400 too, but I'm gonna say $450.
$450. I'm gonna go with $800.
The only way it can be $800 is if you're gonna have to get a SIM card. And then
how hilarious would it be if Apple came out with an $800 watch? But that's not the punchline. How many people will actually get it? Everyone.
Everyone's
Still a lot of
want
people
it.
would buy it.
Yes,
a lot of people
everyone's
would
gonna
buy
want
it.
it. And everyone's gonna figure out how to own
They
one.
have plenty of fanboys.
They do.
Yeah.
With money.
With a lot of money. and every executive who wants to.
And wanted to show it, right?
Yeah.
Wants to
Exactly.
show that they have the money. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna tell a story, but about executives, but no. Events. So, if you happen to be in and around Hurst, Texas, or even the Dallas General Fort Worth area, on October 16th through the 18th.
How about if you're not there, come to.
Yeah.
Or if you're not there and we will not fly you down. You'd have to fly yourself.
I'll give
anyway.
listeners of this episode a 50% off.
I'll let you.
Go. Yeah. Let's
If
look
you
at.
message me privately.
Yeah.
Aaron, go ahead.
I was
Pitch
just saying,
it.
if you're listening on this episode and you message me privately and you're going to go, I'll get you a discount code for 50% off a ticket.
Woo!
General admission
All right.
only.
That you heard it first. Somebody please post this on the Twitterverse and the internets and the Facebook.
No, don't
and
do that.
pages.
For our
Aaron, quick question.
awesome viewers
can
who
we get price
tune
matches
in
on this panel
that we appreciate. It's not for public.
Yeah.
It's for the small people who. It's a sign of appreciation for our viewers.
And if you
All
don't
right,
have enough
well,
reason to come, you get to meet the hosts of Wearables Weekly as well. I've heard they're going to be there.
That's right. Well, yeah. If you don't go, you're just gonna be lame.
If you've already bought a ticket, no, I will not refund your ticket and then give you a 50% discount. Sorry.
That's a very good question, though.
Yeah. Good question.
All right. Somebody had a question on the Motor 360. I think.
We already-
Oh, we already answered that one.
All right.
There's another
Modev-
event. Tell them about the event you're speaking at.
Yes,
the other
Modev is the event that I'm helping organize. I'm also going to be speaking there, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be one of the first massive conferences that I've been part. It's the only massive conference that I've ever been part of, as far as throwing it together. It's called Wearables and Things. So if you are into beacons, wearables, connected refrigerators, whatever, iOS stuff, Bluetooth, what have you, Microsoft, everyone's welcome. You can bring yourself down to Washington, D.C. It's actually technically in Arlington. Don't know why they keep saying Washington, D.C., but it's pretty close. You're going to be in circles like, executives from, Adidas, Misfit, Bluetooth SIG, Google, Atlas.
October 21st.
Yep, October 21st. 20th and 21st, sorry. I'm speaking on the 20th, so the 20th is the only date that matters. So, yes, come to that event. And then January 6th, of course, there is CES. If you are living under a rock, you may not know that CES happens at the beginning of every year in Vegas. This year, explorers are banding together to take pictures through glass or something.
And tickets are free if you get them now.
Yeah, if you get them the next day.
Until August 21st. 31st, I'm sorry.
31st, yeah. Oh, is it? I thought it was the 29th. I guess you're right.
I'm pretty sure it was the 31st.
And you can find a link probably on if you search for Cecilia on.
Did y'all get your tickets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have my ticket.
Are you going?
I plan on it. I haven't gotten a hotel room yet. I haven't gotten a plane ticket, but I do plan on going.
Same with me. I'm going. I'm going to drive anyway, so.
Yeah,
last
we're gonna
minute
drive.
decision.
Are you going, Noble?
I don't know. I don't have money, so.
Did you register?
I did register just in case something crazy happened, and I could afford it. So yes,
Hold on to wish, to hope.
definitely show up at
That's
that
my
other.
favorite.
Yeah, and then of course there's GG DevCon. Somehow I was supposed to be speaking at that, but then I'm not speaking at that anymore. I guess I can't afford it. But they're going to be, I'm sure. Let me click on the link here. Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Cecilia.
Oh, Cecilia's speaking. Awesome. They misspelled your name. Cecilia, they misspelled your name. You need to get that fixed.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Abdu from Wing Feed fame. And,
Allen Fierstenberg, Tejas,
That Anson.
Tejas like Bunny, or
and Dario and Jenny Tong,
yeah.
formerly of Glass fame, still going to talk to us about Firebase.
Still
I have no
of
idea
Glass
what
fame.
Firebase is, and I don't want to learn. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of fun people at this GG DEF Con thing. It looks like they're doing really, really well. It's sponsored. Jeez.
Yeah,
Hey,
the DevCon guys, they're a media company. They get big time sponsors.
Yep. They know how to work the conferences. That's definitely.
Yeah. So, and I have no idea how they get to put Glass as part of their thingy, that without getting lawsuits and complaints.
Where
from
did
Google.
they put
But
Glass?
anyway,
Hold on. Oh, in their name?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They're
It's
not.
the
They're
Glass
GG.
DevCon.
Devcom. Doesn't say Glass. It says GG.
but it shows Glass
Oh.
though.
No,
This is trademark.
The Independent Google Glass Developer Conference, yeah.
It's
they
trademarked. Yeah. You can do that.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that wraps it up, guys.
It's late, and I'm ready to call it a night.
That wraps it up, and thanks for joining us. It was a great event. It was fun times. I think we had.
Nice.
All right.
wasn't
Until
me, I
next
swear.
time.
Guys.
Until next time, join us next week, same time. If it's not the same time, we'll probably let you
I'm
know.
hosting next week, so it'll be bananas.
It'll be.
It will be fun.
Awesome. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.